Hi, this is Awais Khan. I'm here at the S Studios with Sophiya Anjam. I'm an author and entrepreneur. I'm the author of In the Company of Strangers and the upcoming No Honor, and I'm the founding director of the Writing Institute. You can catch me on the S Stories with Sophiya Anjam. Thank you.
Hi everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to yet again another edition of the S Stories on my YouTube channel. You know, our tagline and our slogan is keep the spirit alive, and that's what we try and do every Friday at 7 p.m. So, you know, a few months ago, while I was stalking this particular person on the social media platforms, I was like, you know what? This person is a very creative individual. He's a writer. He's doing so much for the community. So I really need to convince him to come over on the show. But that one thing that I loved about what he did was that he was giving back to the society. And I clearly remember that as a kid, I used to love reading. I used to have this, library of sorts, you know, in my room, and I was obsessed with reading all kinds of articles and then magazines and then books as well. I was a collector, and as much as I loved reading, I think I loved collecting books, and that was also something that I was quite fond of. So ladies and gentlemen, presenting the very talented Mr. Awais Khan. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show.
Walaikum assalam. How are you, Sophiya?
बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक. आपको पता चल गया कि मैं आपको स्टॉक कर रही थी सोशल मीडिया के
नहीं, ट्विटर पे थोड़ी सी हमारी बातचीत हुई थी.
First of all, I absolutely love what you're wearing, but my attention is diverted towards your socks, man.
Socks.
What's the story behind this?
I don't know. It's just one luxury I allow myself because I'm not a very flashy person.
Okay.
The only pop of color I have is on with my socks. So a lot of people say that you're copying Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, but it's actually I never knew he was into that as well.
Well, great people think alike.
Yeah,
that's what they say. अच्छा, Awais की मैं एक formal introduction भी करने लगी हूँ. While I was actually checking out your profile, I was very impressed. And I'm so glad that we have such Pakistanis here, again, who are giving back to the society. So ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Awais Khan is a graduate of the University of Western Ontario and Durham University. That's how they probably think that you were inspired by Justin Trudeau. He has studied creative writing at the prestigious Faber Academy in London. How was that experience?
That was nice.
Yes?
Well, that's where the Writing Institute came from.
That's where it came from. Acha, he's also the author of the critically acclaimed In the Company of Strangers, which, by the way, is here as we speak. I'm going to be talking about this as well. And he's also the founding director of the Writing Institute, which is Pakistan's largest institute of creative writing. So first of all, Awais, I want to ask you a simple question. मुझे ये बताएं that a lot of people probably know about your writing and they really know you as a writer, but who is Awais Khan and who was he as a kid, your first dream?
As a kid, I never thought I'd be a writer. I mean, I was always a very avid reader as a kid.
Okay.
But I always thought that I'd probably become a doctor or something because I was really interested in biology and all of that. But I guess life happened and
I know.
You know, those plans fell apart, or it just I got into business and stuff, or writing and
okay.
everything.
You know how it is in our part of the world actually.
Yeah.
या तो आपने डॉक्टर बनना है, या पायलट बनना है, या टीचर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, या जो आपके अम्मी अब्बू कर रहे हैं, आपने कुछ ना कुछ वैसे ही बनना है. So, you know, walk us through your childhood. Tell us, where were you born in, where in, what were you reading, what was your first dream, what did you want to do?
Well, I'm 100% Lahori. I was born and brought up in Lahore, and I went to the International School of Shafat, which also fostered a love for reading.
Yes.
So I was always, like I said, a very avid reader.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Enid Blyton.
Oh,
I think
who isn't?
Enid Blyton ko padhte I've grown
For
up.
children, I mean, kitni achhi kitabें होती थी.
Secret Seven, Famous Five. And then I also read वो जो Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew.
Sweet Valley as well.
Sweet Valley भी पढ़ ली कभी-कभी. और
Nancy Drew was epic.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Detective series.
There's so many of याद आ रहे हैं, Bobsey Twins होता था.
Yes.
There were lots of them. So I grew up reading them. Roald Dahl. And yeah, so I think that formed my childhood.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think even when I was studying in school and everything, I always used to read. Harry Potter came along.
Of course.
So yeah.
Harry Potter to khair waqai was a magical series.
I've read it like 50, 60 times.
Really?
Yeah. I was a huge fan.
Who's your favorite character?
Hermione. Hands down.
Why not?
Hermione, absolutely.
I thought that she was a very balanced character.
Very balanced.
You know, very sensible as well.
Very sensible, and I think she's the one who held up the entire Harry Potter world. Without her, Harry Potter wouldn't have started.
I agree with that. Absolutely, hands down. Acha, now let's talk about The Company of Strangers. Mashallah, it's a critically acclaimed book. We are so proud of you. Bravo! So, walk us through that experience.
So in the Company of Strangers, I wrote it in 2012 when I took the Faber Academy course. So uske baad it took a few years. It didn't take that long to write it, but it took a long time to get it published because, as you know, I'm a Pakistani author based in Pakistan.
Yes.
So it was incredibly difficult to get the attention of literary agents in the US or UK or publishers. And then there's the fact that publishers didn't want to take me on, a lot of publishers, because of the fact that it's a local, Pakistan ke bare mein hai. They didn't feel that, you know, it would do well in the UK. But then someone did take it on in the UK or South Asia. Simon & Schuster took it on, which is one of the big 5.
Sure.
And the book has done really well. And it's gotten some really good reviews in the press by authors or सबके साथ.
नहीं, माशाल्लाह, you know, this is one thing that we're very proud of you for, because एक तो आपने जो आपका दिल करा आपने वो लिखा, ठीक है, और दूसरी बात, people accepted you for who you were, and that's what you put forward as well. So tell me, I mean, there are different theories, and it's a very relative question though. Some people feel that, okay, there's an idea that comes to your mind, you know, talk us through your creative process. How do you think up of ideas, and how do you materialize those ideas as well? It's like writing a song, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think inspiration is what drives writing. सबसे पहले तो होता है कि I feel that observation is the key.
Right.
For me, to observe something, that gives me an idea. That sort of sparks the idea to write something. And that's what happened within the Company of Strangers as well. That I moved in a certain section of society, और मैंने वहाँ पे देखा क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं. So I thought that I'd like to write about that.
Sure.
So yeah.
So you were in the Company of Strangers.
No, not necessarily, but yeah, I do. I mean, some of it comes from observation.
Of course, it always does. Though they say that reality is stranger than fiction, isn't it? So that's where it stems from. So what are you reading these days, Awais?
I'm reading. I like to read a lot of things. So I read different genres. Right now I'm reading The Last House on Needless Street.
All right.
So it's a gothic thriller. It's a gothic/horror thriller. So I don't really usually read that stuff, but it's done so well in the UK. So मैंने कहा चलो मैं पढ़ लूँ.
And how are you liking it so
It's
far?
really good. It's really compelling. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. उसके अलावा I read a lot of thriller, crime fiction as well. Especially UK based. So some of my favorite friends, my authors, they're all crime writers. So I read that a lot.
Interesting. So you know how we feel that, okay, so we've read a book and now we're watching it on TV, you know, as a TV show or a film, we kind of feel, I think the book was better. So have you had those moments as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think 90% of the times I have that, okay, the book was much better. But I think Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings are those.
Oh, absolutely. Lord of the Rings especially.
The movie is like literally does justice to the book.
A visual treat. I would agree with that. अच्छा मुझे ये बताएं, अब तो बड़ा important सवाल है जो अक्सर लोग करते हैं, because you know I'm quite active on Twitter and I love following Pakistanis who are contributing towards the society. So I had a guest over a few weeks ago. She was talking about the fact that there is no publishing industry in Pakistan. So if you want to publish a book over here, or if you want to do something for the reading community, there's not much you can do. There's no help. So is that true, and what is the ground situation?
It is absolutely 100% true, and that is why I like I said, it took so many years to get this out, because Pakistan mein to kuch hai nahi. There are very few publishers, and most of them don't offer you any money at all. So there's no concept of earning money from books in Pakistan, which is why, despite being a country of over 210 million people, I think, we are still we're not, you know, very big in the international literary scene.
Right.
So the big 5 publishers, they don't have any offices in Pakistan because there is no market here.
Right.
So this is really sad that this is a huge population we're talking about. But most of the readers, they're either reading pirated books or they're not reading at all.
Yeah,
तो इस वजह से हमारी इंडस्ट्री भी नहीं है.
नहीं तो बहुत सारे लोग तो इंडिया से भी करवाते हैं अपना सारा काम पब्लिश.
बिल्कुल, मैंने भी, मेरा भी होता, मेरी जो Simon Schuster India took on in the Company of Strangers, but the book never arrived in Pakistan because of the trade ban.
Yeah.
So India had been doing a lot for us because of the all the big 5 have offices in India. So India was publishing a lot of Pakistani authors. So they were doing a lot for us. But ever since the trade ban went into effect, none of those books are coming into Pakistan. So they're like, कि हम फिर किस बात पे publish करें?
That is very sad.
Yeah.
That is very sad. Because so where do we stand from a government point of view? Is the government not supporting the writers, or like?
No. I think the government doesn't really care about writers because it's such a small. We're a very small community, so we are not even a blip on the radar of the government. So जितना भी शोर मचा लें, government को कुछ नहीं होना.
But दिमाग तो है ना आपका. You guys are the brains, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. But I feel that it will be some years before writers are more respected in a country like Pakistan. But we're trying to do something about it. and foster a love for reading and writing, and hopefully people will move away from buying pirated books and start buying originals, so that more and more bigger publishers get focused on Pakistan as well.
And I think that's where your institution comes in.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that, and how did you think about it, and what is it doing presently?
Yeah, so the idea for the Writing Institute came about when I took the Faber course. So उसपे I learned a lot.
Okay.
So I wanted to start something similar in Pakistan. So these courses are very expensive in the US and the UK. It's like they cost thousands of pounds. So they're well beyond the reach of the common Pakistani.
And what do they teach you exactly in the courses?
So it's kind of like a overview of writing, the building blocks of writing, publishing के बारे में, agents के बारे में, everything.
ठीक है.
So I wanted to do something similar, but at a very lower price.
Okay.
So that is when I launched the Writing Institute. It's not strictly initially it started off as I incurred a loss on it because my fee was very low and I was giving a lot of services to.
So is it okay if I ask you, for example, people are interested and they want to attend, a course that you're offering? So how do they go about it?
So we have a very vibrant social media presence. So we have a website, thewritinginstitute.net.
All right.
And we're on social media, The Writing Institute, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. आप कहीं भी follow कर सकते हैं. So yeah, anyone who wants to register can directly do that through Instagram or Facebook.
And currently you guys are the only people doing this in Lahore?
Well, there are a couple of others, but we are the only ones who are doing it regularly, on a regular basis. So it's like every 6 weeks हमारा course आता है. So it's kind of like
pretty regular. Yes, you guys are consistent.
Yeah.
And especially since the last 5 years, mashallah, that's incredible. ये नहीं कि आपने white flag जो है ना वो दिखा दिए. That's fantastic.
Despite the losses and everything, I went ahead with it and it started turning a profit after a year or two.
Okay.
So that was a good thing.
That's lovely. अच्छा मुझे ये बताएं that so for example somebody is watching this and they're like, okay, so you know what, I can totally relate to the conversation because I am an aspiring writer and I want to write a book, but how do I go about it? What's the first step I should take? What do I do? So please guide them accordingly.
So the first step for any writer is to be a reader first. सबसे पहली बात है, you have to read because that is where you understand what writing is all about. And the second step I would definitely say is to join a writing course. I'm not saying it because I lead the Writing Institute. That's not it. But I have learned so much from my Faber Academy courses, and they really, the journey started from there. So that is why I always recommend that you should invest in a good writing course.
I completely agree with it. Absolutely. I also believe in mentorships. You know, generally speaking, आप तो सिर्फ किताबों की अगर बात कर रहे हैं, तो अगर कोई भी field की आप बात करें, I think it's very important to have mentors in life. You kind of shape your identity, the perspective in your life. So now, ta-da! Finally, it's time for me to talk about No Honor. So what is this new book all about, mister? Really excited about that. Yes.
Yeah, so this one is coming out in August 2021. अभी कुछ महीनों में आ रही है. And it deals with the concept of honor killing in Pakistan. Because I felt that this is something that was being ignored in our, back in 2016 काफ़ी इसका हुआ था. But then the situation sort of went quiet.
There's
and nobody
no honor
really,
in killing.
Exactly,
yes.
And then I decided that I should probably draw attention to the fact that these are still happening in Pakistan. So इसके बारे में this is,
okay, all right. Well, I'm so glad that you've actually chosen a subject which is very relevant to our society. And people often say कि ये क्या है, आप तो किताबें ऐसे लिखते हैं, कोई अच्छी पॉजिटिव चीज़ बताएं ना पाकिस्तान के बारे में. ये क्या बात है भाई, पॉजिटिव चीज़ बताएं पाकिस्तान के बारे में. भाई जो चीज़ हो रही है पहले आप वो तो चीज़ एड्रेस करें ना.
You're absolutely right. I get very offended when people say that because yes, there are positive things about Pakistan and we can do that. But what about the negative things? जिन लोगों पे गुजर रही है, आप उनकी आवाज़ तो बने ना. If you're in the position to do so, why not raise your voice for the people who are being subjected to this?
Absolutely.
You can't brush all of this under the rug. Just because आपको नजर नहीं आ रहा doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Of course, I completely agree with you. Now time is running short, but quickly, Awais. So let's name some of your favorite authors, international authors, and Pakistani authors, of course, in your favorite books as well.
My favorite Pakistani author would be hands down Faika Mansab.
Okay.
This House of Clay and Water. It's an absolutely brilliant book. So Pakistani authors, I read a lot of them. Sonia Kamal is also a very good favorite. She's the author of Unmarriageable. Uzma Aslam Khan is a big favorite of mine. As for foreign authors, I read a lot. So J.K. Rowling, Donna Tartt, I read a lot, which is Pulitzer bhi mila tha, I think. She won the Pulitzer. And there are lots of crime authors, jaise maine aapko kaha tha.
Your interest is slowly started to develop now.
Yeah. So I'm friends with a few of them as well. A. Chaudhary, Alan Gorman, there are a lot of other crime authors I read, and then Kate Morton. Have you heard of Kate Morton?
Just now from you.
Yeah. She's an absolutely wonderful author.
Yeah, what
as well.
kind of?
So it's like historical, uska hota hai,
Okay.
but it's a historical suspense.
Acha.
So it's really well done.
History is good.
History,
though. It's always good.
She's really good. So I read all sorts of things. Historical fiction बहुत अच्छी लगती है मुझे. So I read Laura Purcell. I'm a huge fan of hers. So there are lots of. अब मैं बोलना शुरू करूँ, I won't stop.
And you have this beautiful library also. We're
Yeah.
going to show you guys a visual of his place that he's just set up. It's mashallah beautiful to look at as well. So you are a collector as well?
Yeah, I think I'm a huge reader, but
Yeah.
I'm also a collector. So आपने जो my collection, so I have almost 4,000 books now.
Wow.
So I've only read about half of them. So yeah.
I can relate to that because I love buying books and then collecting them.
Yeah, buying and reading are totally different things.
Yeah, it's a joy altogether,
Absolutely,
buying a book and a fresh new book, the fragrance of a fresh new book as well. Now, before we say goodbye to all of you, I think I'd like to end with a thought as well. Wes, when I see a lot of authors and writers around the world, I see them going on world tours. I see them signing books. I see them getting money. And I see them getting a lot of critical acclaim and them giving speeches and them giving cameos at different shows. And they are huge personalities known all over. How do you envision that for Pakistani creative individuals?
Well, I think we're not there yet as far as Pakistan is concerned, because like I said, Pakistan is merely a blip on the radar of the international literary community, but you never know, things might change. A lot of Pakistani authors are making waves abroad, like I said about Sonia Kamal, she's pretty big in the US. So I hope that with the passage of time, more people will read Pakistani authors, and we'll also get a chance to attend those book tours and whatever. So hopefully.
Inshallah, hopefully. And with people like you, we have a bright future ahead. Thank you so much, Awais, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Sophia.
My pleasure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to say goodbye to all of you. I'm sure that you learned a lot. It's such a pleasure to speak with him, and I'm still obsessed with his socks as we speak. He actually has a socks. Basically have a turkey, and the turkey is also being cooked. So first you get the turkey, you make friends with the turkey, and then you eat the turkey. I'm going to ask him about this entire phenomenon later on. But I just like to end the show with a quotation. It goes something like this, and I love it. That's the thing about books. They let you travel without you moving your feet. It's all about your imagination. It's all about the creativity. So support local talent. Encourage them, and that is the only way that you can support your country. Catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.